This podcast is brought to you by People's Food Co-op, a community-owned grocery store in downtown La Crosse, Wisconsin and Rochester, Minnesota, that promotes local farmers and producers through an emphasis on fresh, healthy, sustainable food. Anyone can shop. Everyone is welcome. For more information, visit them online at pfc.coop. This podcast is also brought to you by Trempealeau County Tourism. Whether your idea of fun is bicycling, hiking, or canoeing, afterwards head into the heart of one of their welcoming communities to experience historic architecture, independent shops, and locally owned dining establishments. Visit Trempealeau County Tourism online. Artspire is back with a full weekend of art at the Pump House Regional Art Center. Enjoy live music from Cloud Cult, Bill Miller, and B2 Winds, plus a fine art fair, interactive art projects, and visual and performing arts. June 10th through 11th. Learn more at artspire.thepumphouse.org. We sat down with longtime music scene alum Adam Palm. We chatted about early exposures to music, influences, past albums, new music, COVID, the process for songwriting, and what's next for this musician. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
Well, my name is Adam Palm. I was born in South Carolina, in Charleston, and I got into music from when I was about 11. When my dad had me listen to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon with headphones on, just lay on the floor and listen to the album front to back. And like the next day I said, Dad, I want a guitar. Yeah, then I got a cheap guitar from him, and started practicing. And then, I don't know, just never gave up.
Thinking about influences, you referenced Pink Floyd, and I've seen you playing locally with a number of different bands and some of those kind of bridging and overlapping on different genres. What are some of your influences that kind of inspired that sort of stuff?
I guess I had a lot of different influences through the years. I got into jazz with Brad Meldo really back in 2001. And so I really loved jazz ever since, I always try to incorporate that in some of my songs. And folk music is great. Bluegrass, I love the bluegrass sounds, the picking, the twanging, and I'm a big fan of funk. So I don't know, I like to listen to a lot of different genres of music, kind of draw what I write from that.
Just kind of growing up in the bar scene in some sense, seeing all the different bands that are coming up in the, the early 2000s. It seemed like there was a lot of bands, but there also was a tight-knit group of people. You played in quite a variety of different bands, didn't you?
For sure, yeah. Played in Three Beers to Butte, which is more of a funk band, party band. Stuff that I would write was more like jazzy bluegrass stuff, sometimes. I don't know. I've played with a lot of different people throughout La Crosse area. And that's the nice thing about this area is that we can all kind of sit in with each other and experience different types of musical creation, I think one of my favorite times in La Crosse playing is the Palm Sunday series. I started that up, I think, 2010. And we basically every Sunday throughout the summer, I play with a different person. And a lot of times I've never played with these people, but we're like, hey, let's do a show. You're like, cool. So then we just show up and on a Sunday. And I remember one time I asked Dan Sobronic if he wanted to play. And he said, sure, yeah, So we got to the gig and we started setting up. And then we both sat down and tuned our guitars. And we looked at each other. And he says, so now what? And we just started laughing. Then we played 4 hours of music.
Wow, that's cool. So just kind of looking into you over the past couple of days, I know you had an album called Morning that you released in 2019. Is there anything new coming out? Anything kind of interesting that you're working on?
Yeah, actually, since I did have a lot of downtime with the pandemic, eventually, past all the laziness and depression and whatnot, I got into actually working on creating again. So the last 6 months or so, I've been diving into a loop show and learning how to do a loop show. So this new loop show I'm doing involves not only guitar and vocals, but also I'll be adding in trombone, keys, drums, and it's going to be a full party. New stage name and stage band name to be announced coming soon, which is pretty exciting. If you want to check out the Loop Show, I do have a video on YouTube called Peace in Ukraine. It's based on a traditional Russian Ukrainian folk tune, which I added in lyrics for, given the current circumstances in the world.
We want peace in Ukraine. Russia should leave Ukraine. Most of us want peace in Ukraine in 2022.
So, this sounds like a new project for you that's completely different than something you traditionally do in the folk sense, I guess. What is your process for songwriting?
Honestly, it's been completely different almost every time. Sometimes I'll write a bunch of the music, the chords, the melodies, and then I go back and like, oh, these words would be cool with this song. And I put in the words after. Sometimes, I don't know, I went to New York City in 2018 in September, and I wrote 20 songs in 20 days. And every day I wrote a song. I woke up and that was the plan. So I wrote mainly like the lyrics first, and then I would write the chords to it later. But one time I was in Montana in 2019 up in Polebridge, and I wrote a song in a bar with like around, I'd say probably 6 people giving me kind of their opinions as well. And everybody had kind of chimed in. And yeah, it was great kind of writing in almost a collaborative environment. In North Carolina, I co-wrote a song with a couple friends, Chris Bonelli and Zach Eitzel, and that we each wrote a verse of the song, and then we collectively wrote the chorus.
In terms of recording, is that just something whenever it happens, or do you work fast or quick, or just whatever comes up, or what's your process for putting something down, or is it just that, you throwing out singles now, or how does that work?
Right now, I'm just working on a song by song basis. I have written a couple new tunes that I have no recordings of, and I'm in the process of getting those out there. One tune I did write is called Universe is One, and I'm actually going to be filming a music video for that this weekend. And in the process of filming the music video, I'm recording the audio in conjunction with that. So
what I've seen from you, and I guess following you on social media, on your Facebook, Adam Paul Music, you kind of have a home base here in La Crosse, and maybe COVID changed that, but you were kind of bouncing around the United States, weren't you?
For sure. I actually traveled before COVID. I was traveling for a year and a half straight. It was great. A lot of fun. I think about a year of that, or maybe a little bit more, I didn't have a car.
Did COVID stop that in some ways, or just kind of shut it down? Or?
Oh yeah. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I just got done working in downtown Phoenix and Tucson. I was there for a bit, but I actually had a plane ticket booked to LA to go live in Venice Beach. Gonna go start my new home base out there in LA, kind of settle down. But then the virus hit, all the work's dried up. Beyond music, I'm also an audio engineer for live events, and all live events were canceled immediately. So when there's no work, there's no money. I figure I really don't want to be in LA with no money.
So what's next for you? What are you excited about coming down the road?
Honestly, right now I have a tour being scheduled this summer. Currently working with Broken Wrist Records. So there'll be a tour announced very soon. And I'll be playing some shows, getting some new music out there, and spending some time with my dog, Beatrix.
So if people want to find out more, what's the best avenue for them to go to?
Right now, Adam Paul Music on Facebook is the best avenue. The website still needs updated, and I got to get on my editor about that, who is actually me. But, you know how it is.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com. And you can subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.